Hello, Flash Dagger here. It's been a long time since I've made a video and spoken to you a lot, but back again with another track guide for the weekly time trial challenge, this time at Goodwood in the McGann. It's a lot of fun, and in this particular track guide I'm going to take you through not just the guide itself, which is only 5 breaking points, pretty straightforward, a lot of fun, but some concepts that will hopefully help you with not just this track guide, but taking it forward with road cars in terms of managing exit speed, carrying momentum, managing rotation and slide, managing and balancing the transfer of weight, how to use that to your advantage, how to prevent it hurting you, and obviously to finish off the lap we have our own very incarnation of the death chicane. I'm going to show you a tried and tested method to ensure you can protect your laps and get the best time possible. So with that said, if you enjoy or get any value from this guide, likes, subscribes, obviously always appreciated, but I really do love hearing the comments. Let me know how you get on, let me know how you're getting on with your own driving. A lot's happened in my own driving, as I'm sure some of you have been aware from my updates of my community posts. I love to hear about your own improvements as well. So with that said, let's jump into the track guide. So in fourth gear, we're going to be shifting in miles per hour around about 90. What we're looking for here is we're going to look for the marshal's box on the left hand side. So I'm just looking for that marshal's box there. Just there. On the left hand side. I'm going to get the brakes in. Now it's not going to be too hard of a brake. You can downshift if you want that extra rotation and a little bit of slide to open up the angle. I actually practiced with both. I preferred holding fifth and just feathering the brakes around. So if we just carried on around here. In fifth, just feather the brakes. I'm looking for this first curb here on the right hand side. Now, as you can see, I've come in a little bit narrow there. It's not perfect. Ideally, if you look in the chase cam, we'd like to be squared off a little bit more, not come in at such an acute angle, because then we can get onto the power a little bit earlier. And I'll just go back to hood cam. We're going to get onto the power here. Full power, and then it's this second curb. So I'm looking to come off, and I'm aiming to hit one of the curbs and on the entry, and then on the exit I'm aiming to come off the other curb. And this is where the speed is really gained on this track. And a couple of the things I'm going to talk about in this track guide are opening up the steering inputs and balance. Working with these road cars is all about stability and managing that stability. Managing it to ensure it doesn't hurt you or have a detrimental effect, but also using it, using the suspension, using the weight transfer to help you round the corners with an otherwise understeering car. So what I'm going to do is just going to watch how I open the steering lock here. Now it looks really simple, but what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to insert me chasing P1 in the world's ghost. And you're going to see a rapid increase in how it closes down on the P1's ghost because I've opened that steering lock. With a lot of road cars, a lot of the pace is gained from opening the steering early. In the radicals this week, in race A, the same principle applies. I was trying to explain that to somebody yesterday. You want to open your steering as early as possible in line with the throttle. So just play that through. So you should have now seen where I've been able to massively catch up on the straights. And that same principle will apply on the back straight when we come to that. So we're in sixth gear. What we're going to look for again is the marshal's box on the left hand side. So just keep an eye on that. What's the next one? Okay, so the marshal's box on the left hand side. Got the brakes in. Now this is quite an aggressive movement. I am going to intentionally drift this around the corner, and that's basically because it's the quickest way to do it. Now if you're not comfortable, you don't have to put the steering inputs in as aggressively as I do, but if you want to get the most rotation, the most carry speed, notice I'll be off the throttle and the brakes and coasting, because particularly road cars, they rotate better without input. So whenever you're just purely coasting, the rotation will be better. And that's what I'm going to use now. So you can see I'm right up on the curb there, okay? So I've got all the weight on the left-hand side, and it's going to rotate the car right the way around. And what I'm looking for is just ahead there. You can see that little arrow to the right. There's a little gap in the track. I need to bring my car over to the right-hand side to set up the next corner. Now, what's interesting here is what I do right now, how I do this is really good, but it's not the way I want you to do it. I'm going to contradict myself. What I really wanted to do here was come through this corner with a right hand motion, all the weight on the left hand side. I wanted to get it over to the right hand side early to stabilize and center the car. Okay, I wanted the weight to be centered and the center of gravity to be centered to set up a stable left hander. Now, what I've actually done is the equivalent of a bit of a Scandinavian flick. It was what I was going to use to teach you how not to do it. Even though this works for me, I was forced into this. So what you'll see me do now is I'm going all right inputs, all weight in the left, and it takes me that long to get to the right hand side of the track that it's an instant flick to the left, which I wouldn't encourage, right? Because you're going to lose control. However, in this instance, it actually worked out quite well. So you can see I'm late in getting the car to the right hand side to open up for the left hander in the chase. So you can see instantly the inputs are coming to the left. And that's why you can see I've had to drift it again, because I've thrown all the weight from the left hand side over to the right hand side, which has essentially got me up. Now, because I carried so much speed, I was able to take that in fifth. So we'll look at that one more time, just in the hood cam at full speed, so you can see that for yourself. So in the sixth, looking for the marshal's box on the left hand side. Down to fifth, little bit of a drift, getting the weight over the left hand side, trying to get back to the right, left, drop to fourth, up to fifth, and powered out. Now that's pretty well done. I'm just going to insert here what it looks like in TV cam. It looks great, but it would have been better if I'd stabilized the car off first before putting the left-hand steering inputs to ensure I had full control. You don't have to drift it that way. It looks great, but it's not as safe as stabilizing the car off first. So I'm just going to be looking for the man on the left-hand side here to come in the fifth gear. This guy in the brown. So this guy in the brown here, once I pass him on the left-hand side, I'm going to be onto the brakes. Right, there you go. Okay, and you can see what that looks like for you in your chase cam. You know, obviously in your cockpit if you use that, and in the bumper cam. Now, important thing here, you're coming onto a very long straight. Okay, so your exit is incredibly important. And one of the mistakes that you'll see a lot of people making is they're going to get on the brakes and start turning in. And before you know it, they've cut the corner on the grass. They've got like a red time or a penalty, or they've lost all momentum. Braking point and turning point are very different. I want you to brake in a straight line as much as possible. A little bit of inputs, but really the major inputs coming off the brakes and coasting through at the 50 ahead here. That's going to open up the angle and let you get onto the power early and carry the power around the straight. There. Okay, so you can see that's whenever the major inputs are coming in at the 50. And you can see what that looks like for you in chase, again in cockpit and in bumper. And we're just going to aim for the curb, okay? So, perfect. Now we're coasting, no inputs at all. I'm just getting ready. I'm aiming, getting ready to fire onto the throttle. There. Okay. And again here, we're going to see me open up the steering inputs. So we've got a little bit of space to play with. I'm on the curb. I'm going to open these steering inputs up, and the car is going to get an extra kick of acceleration. And I'll insert again a clip of it against P1 on the World's Ghost to see where there is time to be gained by opening the steering inputs early. So you should have seen that. So we're going up a hill here. So what I would have ordinarily shifted at 110, I gave it a few more miles per hour up before the upshift to 6th, just to get that momentum. So on this side here, I'm going to look for is this gap. So that was a 0.735. So we're about half a tenth off P1 in the world, Dan Holland's Ghost. So about 400 or 500. It's not major. The last sector, I'm quite conservative on that chicane. I was on a good lap. I needed to get a lap to make a track guide. So I just took it quite easy through the chicane. There's 2 or 3 more tenths in it for me, but I'm not going to push it. What I'm looking for here is this gap on the left-hand side. Okay? And I'm not braking at the gap starting. I'm not braking in the middle. I'm braking just as it ends. So when I get onto the brakes, down to 5th, and then when it's to start turning in, I'm going to go on to 4th. 5th, 4th. So at the right hand side, I'm going to go with 4th. I'm going to look to hit that first apex. I'm going to hold the brakes in 50%. I want to keep a bit of movement. And then I want it to catch, and then I can get onto the power, because I want to open that angle up so I can get onto the power early. This wasn't perfect. I've done it better. But you're having to really manage 2 apexes here while drifting. It's not particularly easy. So you can see there the power comes in, and I'm kind of understeering. I should have, if I'm looking at that, I would have, if that's 12 o'clock, I really would have liked the car to be pointing at 1 o'clock so I can get onto the power a little bit early with the security that I'm not going to run wide. So now we're up to Goodwood's version of the death chicane, okay? And many a life will have been claimed here. So I'm going to show you a safe way to protect your lap. You can absolutely send it. If you want to send it and know how to do that, I suggest checking out P1's time, Dan Holland. He's one of the best in the world at road cars. I've no doubt that Doodle will put in a lap on this at some point, because he's another absolute alien in road cars. And the things they can do and manage that weight transfer, which we're going to talk about now, is crucial. So what I'm looking for here is this shadow, which just aligns to this marshal's booth. So there, brakes come in. So this is difficult. There's just no forgiveness. It's not like a curb. It's not like, you know, the final chicane at Nürburgring where you get a penalty. If you have any contact with this whatsoever, lap is over, invalidated, right? It's going to be red. So what we want to do is, it's getting the Goldilocks zone. We want to burn the speed off so we don't carry too much speed, which means we have to get on the brakes really, really late and have no speed leaving the second apex. We don't want to get on the brakes too early where we carry no speed at all, which is going to cost us a lot of time. So we're getting it right. So when I start braking here, 4th gear, I have a little bit of movement on the rear. I'm kind of like this at the moment. I'm going to put it in chase cam. So I'm on the brakes, right? And already, right? Yeah, it's. I'm not going to lie. It's not ideal how much of a risk you have to take to get a good lap here, but by doing that, you can see I've perfectly straightened out the inputs at this stage. I'm on the brakes. And now I'd stabilize the car. I'm on the left-hand side. And the power is coming in. Right? Now, that looks pretty good. But P1 did that 2 tenths quicker than me. That was a 0.24.737. It's pretty good. Just watch it one more time at full speed. So on the brakes, open it up, coast and carry the speed onto the power. That's a very, very conservative way of doing it. I'll show you that again. It's clean, it's conservative, that sector is a 0.0. It'll protect your lap. If you want to go death or glory, you can absolutely do that. But for me, braking at the shadow, 4th, holding 4th the whole way through, onto the power, and upshift at 90 to the line, and a 23, 24.737. So that is the track guide, that is how to do it, that is some of the concepts to help you going forward. Before I play the lap in its raw format in full, at full speed, if you wouldn't mind, you have gained something from that, you've learned something new or a new approach that's going to help you, simply hitting the like button, subscribing if you wish to, or leaving a comment to let me know how you've got on would be much appreciated. If I don't get to make any more content or engage with you before Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful time, whatever you're up to with your friends, family, or just engage in the wider Gran Turismo community. Have a happy new year, and hopefully I will get to see some of you in 2025 for more racing and content. Take care. Bye bye.